Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me here today. Happy long weekend. My name is Jill and I'm here to guide you today through our 60-minute flow class. So please take a moment or two to gather what you need. A couple of blocks or hardcover books, maybe something to pad a knee like a small pillow if you don't have a chip foam block, and whatever you like to get comfy and cozy in Shavasana with. So blanket, bolster, or cushion. And once you have everything that you need, maybe put on your favorite playlist, grab a cup of tea or a glass of water. And for today, we're going to get started on our backs. So making our way down onto the mat, extending arms and legs out by our sides. We'll take a few moments here to arrive and settle onto the earth. Just noticing what we notice here. The feelings, the thoughts, the emotions that are going through the mind, the body. Allowing whatever will be. Not judging, criticizing. And just allowing ourselves to feel what we feel here today. Drawing the eyes closed or taking a nice soft gaze here. Tuning into that inner dialogue, listening to the body and the breath as we prepare for practice. Floating one hand over the heart space and the other hand over the belly. And checking in and seeing what the quality of the breath is here today. If our inhales and exhales are quite short and choppy, seeing if we can gently smooth the breath out, lengthening the inhales. Maybe even pausing at the top of the inhale. And then exhaling, letting it all go. Finding a comfortable rhythm that works best for you. And in a few moments after we're done our opening meditation, I invite you to use your Ujjayi breath as we begin to flow and move and build some heat in the body. That's your ocean sounding breath, that slight constriction in the back of the throat with lips closed, sounding as if you're fogging up a mirror. So you're welcome to use that breath, or you can just use your own simple, smooth breath that will allow you to flow and guide yourself from shape to shape. So with one hand on belly and one hand on chest, seeing if you can incorporate a 3-part breath here. Really expanding that belly, let the rib cage flare out, let the chest rise. Often we are usually only chest breathers. The chest is rising and falling. Seeing if you can incorporate the breath throughout the whole body. Getting into the lower belly. Let that diaphragm help expand the belly. Rib cage opens up, allowing space for you to breathe and bring in as much oxygen as you possibly can here. If you choose to work with an intention here today, now is a good time to cultivate that. That can be your special word, that can be a short sentence or statement, something that resonates with you, that brings you strength and peace and courage. And allows you to spread this love, this self-love all through your body. From the tips of your toes to the crown of the head. Spreading love and appreciation throughout the whole body here today. We'll begin with a couple of deep cleansing breaths, and then on the third, we can all virtually inhale to Om together. Let's begin by opening the mouth and sighing out all that old stale air. Inhale deeply through the nose. Open the mouth, let it all go. Inhaling again. Big release here. This time we'll inhale to Om. Wonderful. Slowly remove the hands from the body, and we'll begin to float arms and legs straight up into the sky, coming into waterfall pose. So our feet are flexed, soles of feet point up towards the sky, fingers extended, hands reach up, lots of space in between those fingertips, thumbs point back behind us. Lengthening through the limbs here, and then maybe rolling ankles and wrists, working out all those little creaks and cracks, any stiffness you may be experiencing here. Some nice gentle rolls, keeping in mind to reverse the direction. And after you've worked out all those kinks, we'll bend the knees and we'll hug them into chest. Interlace the hands along the outsides of the shins here. And you can start to massage the lower spine. So just gently rocking side to side. And then next time you find yourself on the right side, we'll just gently lower both knees down to the right. So knees are stacked. We're taking a nice gentle twist here, first twist of the day. And then we'll open up into that T shape, expanding arms out side to side, resting down on that left ear. If T-shape with the arms is not calling to you today, feel free to take cactus arms, bending at the elbows, or maybe floating hands overhead. Breathe into the lower body here as you gently twist. Taking notice of what the body is saying. Is it speaking to you? Is it telling you anything here that you need to be mindful of? As we explore our shapes today, we want to keep in mind that we want to find that nice, comfortable edge. Finding that sweet spot between effort and ease. You want to be feeling something, but not to the point of any pain or electrical shock or numbing. So finding your edge, an edge where you can breathe comfortably, but the body is still doing some work. Begin to draw the head and knees back through center. This time we'll take the hands to the tops of the knees and we'll just take some circles, circling knees to the right and around, back side to side. And then taking both knees to the left. Coming back into center with the bent knees. And then we'll take the knees apart and take circles like this. So each hand on top of knee. Taking nice big wide circles. Taking the thighs apart and around. And then reversing, changing directions when you feel ready. Drawing those knees back together at center. And then maybe taking the hips over to the right an inch or two as we gently rest both knees down to the left. Again, coming back down onto our backs as we gently twist, opening the arms up into your variation of choice. T-shape, cactus arms, or resting overhead as if you're taking a nice big morning stretch here. Seeing if you can keep both shoulder blades rooted into the earth. Maybe resting down on the right ear. Eyes can still be closed here, or that nice gentle soft gaze. Notice what you notice here on this side. Mindfully drawing head and knees back through center, floating arms and legs back up into the sky, taking legs wide, bending at the knees, flexing the feet, threading the hands in between the legs to reach for the outside edge of the feet. Soles of feet face up for our happy baby. Draw the knees down towards the armpits. See if you can connect your lower spine to the earth. Push up through the hands as you pull down on the feet. Make your happy baby active here. And then start to play. Maybe rocking side to side. Maybe you prefer a half happy baby, so you let one leg go long up towards the sky. So play with your happy baby here for a few more breaths. And then we'll draw the legs and thighs back together. Knees are still bent here, and then just snug the hands behind both knees. We'll start to rock and roll on that lower spine, going forwards and backwards here, massaging the whole length of the spine. And then rolling over the feet and finding our way into a tabletop. You're ready. When you've found your tabletop, we'll just start to sway the hips and bend at the elbows. Just swaying side to side here. Toes can be tucked for a little bit more stability. Maybe taking big body circles, taking the hips up, back, and around. Spread through the fingertips here. Gently claw at the mat to activate the full palm of the hand. Beautiful. Meeting back in our tabletop. Taking the knees wide, big toes to touch. We'll start to melt the heart down, coming into child's pose. Staying here at center, if this is what the body is calling for today. Or maybe walking both hands over to the right, taking a side bend and then stopping at your edge. Allowing yourself to find that edge where you're able to breathe. Breathing some nice big nourishing breaths up and down that left side body. So hands are to the right. We're feeling the stretch along the left side here. And then maybe we place that left hand and we put it on top of the right if we're looking to deepen. Always asking yourself why. Why do you want to deepen here? Why do you want to take it to the next level? Is the body and the breath prepared and ready to deepen the shape? Allowing the ego to stay at outside the door if it's maybe a little bit too soon to proceed to that next level in your poses. So having that awareness and being okay with where you're at in your practice. Not always feeling the pressure or the need to push it to your deepest edge. It's not always the safest place to go. we're stacked, unstacking hands, walking back through center into your child's pose, melting the heart, connecting the forehead. And then we start to slowly walk hands over to the left side of the mat. Maybe picking up right hand and placing it on top of left. Last few breaths up and down the right side body here. Feeling a nice stretch along the right side. And then unstacking hands and meeting back at center. We'll float back up into our tabletop. Toes can be tucked or untucked here. And then from here, we'll simply float the right hand out towards the side. And on the exhale, we'll start to thread it underneath the left, and we'll come to rest down gently on that right shoulder. So a few options here. If you know you need a little extra cushioning, you can rest your head or the right shoulder on a chip foam block. You can float that left hand straight up into the sky. You can bind the left hand behind the back body. Or maybe you prefer to walk the left fingertips over to the right. So taking some time here to explore and see what feels good in your body, and just see where you intuitively want to go. Don't overthink it. If you're feeling it, you're doing it. So just go where the body naturally wants to go. And then find your stillness and listen to what the body has to say in this new shape. On your next inhale, we'll slowly untwist. We'll place that right hand back down onto the mat, coming through tabletop. If you used a prop for the shoulder or the head, you can just place it to the left side. And we'll start to float that left arm out to the side, to the left, and slowly on the exhale, start to twist and thread that left arm underneath the right. So resting down gently on that left shoulder, maybe patting and supporting the body here under the head or shoulder area. Maybe floating the right arm straight up towards the sky. Maybe you enjoy resting the arm behind the lower back body. Or extending the right hand and walking the fingertips over to the left. So right hand to the left. Slowly exhaling and releasing that right hand down. Untwist, come back through your tabletop, place your prop aside. Maybe we'll wag our tail side to side. So palms are rooted firmly in the earth. We're still on our knees here, and we're just floating the hips side to side. Maybe we'll stop on the right side and peek back behind us. Take a peek at the feet. So a gentle C curve to the body here. Come back through center in your tabletop, and then take a peek over that left shoulder. Look back behind you towards your feet. And we'll float back through center. We'll tuck our toes if they're not already. And then on the inhale, we'll lift that right leg back behind us, extending it long, flexing the feet so the toes point back behind us. Shoulders are stacked over wrists here. Left toes are tucked. And you can gaze straight down in between the hands at the top of the mat. On your exhale, you can begin to bend that right knee and tuck it in towards the nose. On the exhale, extend that right leg long back behind you. Exhaling, bending right knee, seeing if you can touch your nose with that right knee. And then on the exhale, extending leg back behind you. So just continuing here, you can start your Ujjayi breath, linking your breath with your movement. Inhaling as you extend that right leg long back behind you. And then exhaling as you curl that right knee in and see if you can touch your nose. So a couple more rounds here. Taking our time. This can be a little bit of a slower flow today. So slow flow for the weekend. Last one here. And then we'll just release that right knee back down to meet the left. Untuck the toes. Start to melt the heart down onto the thighs. So belly and heart on thighs. Come into a nice little ball. Rest on the crown of your head. Take your arms back behind you. Palms face up. So child's pose, humble child's pose with thighs together. Arms along your sides. Palms face up. Resting more on the crown of the head. Releasing through the shoulders here. Inhaling back up through our tabletop, tucking our toes, and then picking up that left leg and extending it long back behind us. So the body's in one nice long line here again, checking in with the hands, making sure there's lots of space in between the fingertips, gently gripping at the mat to activate the hand. Toes, back toes, point down towards the earth. Begin to bend that left knee, curl that knee in, see if you can touch your nose here. Inhale, extend that left leg long. Slowly begin to bend that left knee, curl it in, touch the nose. Exhaling, lengthening the left leg behind you. And just continuing to flow here. There's no rush, just taking our time, mindful movements. May still take some time to awaken the legs here. So if you're still feeling a little bit stiff, no worries. There's no need to rush. We'll do a slower flow here. So last couple of rounds, curling in, trying to touch the nose, and then extending left leg long. And then we'll lower that left knee down to meet the right, untuck the toes. Send the hips back again, belly to thighs, and bow over your thighs here, connecting crown to the earth and taking arms back behind you, palms face up, let the arms hang, release gently through the shoulders. On your next inhale, we'll plant the hands back down on the earth out in front, tuck the toes, send the hips up and back, down dog. When you arrive in your down dog, begin to pedal it out, lowering one heel, then the other. Maybe coming high on the balls of the feet, maybe bending deeply into the knees. Again, listening, hearing all those little creaks and cracks in the ankles and the feet. Smoothing it all out, working out all those little kinks. And then we'll find our way through stillness in our down dog. Melt the heart towards the thighs, lift the hips up. Float the right leg up into the sky. Bend the right knee, place the right foot in between the hands at the top of the mat. So we're in a runner's lunge here. We're slowly going to draw that right hip back. We want right knee over right ankle. And we're just going to simply inhale up, but we're going to keep the arms down by our sides. So palms face inwards, arms are down by our sides. So just hanging out here for a couple of breaths. On your next exhale, you can plant your hands back down onto the earth. Step that right foot back. Tuck the elbows in and slowly lower down onto your belly. Untuck your toes. Beautiful. From here, we're going to take the fingertips off the mat. So tenting the fingertips, elbows point up. We're going to inhale up to a nice big cobra here. So hands are most likely off the mat. Lots of space in between the fingertips, and you're high on the tips of those fingers. Beautiful. Gaze over your right shoulder, look back behind you. Draw back through center, lift the heart. Gaze over the left shoulder, look back towards the feet. Slowly untwist again, melt the heart back down towards the earth. Plant the hands underneath the shoulders, so hands are back on the mat, underneath the shoulders. Tuck the toes, take the hips up and back, down dog. Float left leg up into the sky, bend left knee, place left foot in between the hands at the top of the mat. Runner's lunge. Setting up our foundation, high on the back, ball of the foot. Inhale, hands to your sides for a high lunge, but we're going to keep our hands down. So palms face inward, arms resting along your sides, just hanging out here, gazing straight out in front. Exhaling, hands back down to the earth, step back, tuck elbows in, lower all the way down onto your belly, untuck your toes. Beautiful. This time, leaving hands exactly where they are underneath the shoulders, we're going to inhale up into seal. So arms are straight if you can, out in front. Gazing out in front, maybe closing the eyes and exploring how that feels. Back toes are untucked here, legs are long down the mat. On your next exhale, melt the heart back down to the earth, tuck the toes, send the hips up and back, down dog. Look towards the top of the mat, step or walk all the way to the top, meeting in your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up to stand. Join the palms overhead and float them down through heart center. Beautiful. Release hands down by your sides. Palms face forward, mountain pose. Inhale, float the hands up. Exhale, hinge at the hips as you forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Plant the hands, step back to plank. Option to always lower the knees when you're in plank or come through tabletop. So from wherever you are, this time your choice. You can tuck elbows in, lower down chaturanga. Inhale up to cobra up dog. Roll over to the toes. Send the hips up and back, down dog. Float the right leg up into the sky. Bend the right knee. Place the right foot in between the hands at the top of the mat. Plant your back heel down. Inhale, hands up, warrior one. So drawing that right hip back, making sure you have your back toes pointing towards the top left-hand corner of your mat, and your right knee is bent, and you want that knee over that ankle. Beautiful. So from here, we're going to inhale, hands up overhead again if you're not already, and then exhaling as we bow a little bit, and then we'll float the hands back behind us. So reaching hands back behind us. Inhale, float hands back up. Exhale, slowly bow, reaching hands back behind us. 2 more times, inhaling, hands up, warrior one. Exhale, reach the hands back behind you as you bow over that front leg. This time we'll inhale, hands up. And then we'll exhale, hands back down to the earth. Step back, lower down in plank, lower down into chaturanga. Inhale up, cobra up dog. Roll over the toes, downward facing dog. Float left leg up into the sky. Bend that left knee. Place that left foot down in between the hands, top of the mat. Plant that back foot down. Floating hands up, warrior one on this side. Exhale, bow over that front leg as you reach the arms back behind you. Inhaling, floating hands back up, warrior one. Exhale again here. Reach, extend those hands back. Inhaling as you float back up. Last time. Beautiful. Slow and controlled movements here. And then we'll exhale our hands back down to the earth. This time we'll come high on the ball of that back foot and we'll step forward, meeting in a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up to stand, joining palms overhead and exhaling them down through heart center. Beautiful. Inhale, float the hands up. Exhale, take the hands out wide as you reverse swan dive. Hinge at the hips as you fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your hands. Step back to down dog. Float the right leg up into the sky. Bend the right knee. Place that right foot in between the hands at the top of the mat. We're coming into warrior one again. So back heel is down. Right foot is forward. Inhaling, hands up into warrior one. But this time we'll draw the hands back behind the body, interlacing the fingertips. Draw the heart up as the hands reach down. Exhale, bow to the inside, that front leg. Draw the hands up. Breathe smoothly here. Ujjayi breath, whatever breath you're working with. Gaze in between the legs. See if you can take your body a little bit more to the left so you're not dumping into that right thigh and resting all your body weight on that right thigh. 2 more deep, strong breaths here. Humble warrior. Beautiful. Last one. Release the hands, float them back up into the sky. Warrior one. And then release the hands down to the hips. Come high on the back toes. Maybe step that foot up just a little bit more. Draw the right hip back as you straighten that front leg. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, bow over that front leg for pyramid pose. So right leg is straight here. Beautiful. Draw that right hip back, and then options with the hands. You can take the hands together at heart center for prayer. You can take hands down to the earth, or if you want to use blocks instead, you can pick up your blocks and play around with pyramid with hands on blocks. And just checking in to draw that right hip back. So option 2, stay here, or you can place that left hand towards the inside of that right foot, and then you can float the right arm up for a revolved triangle. Gaze up towards that top hand, or if it's not comfortable in the neck, you can look down towards the foot. As long as you're breathing, you're where you need to be. Draw the right hip back. Beautiful. And wherever that top hand is, float that right hand back down to the earth. Step forward, meeting in your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach all the way up towards the sky. Join the palms, float them down through heart center. Release them down by your sides for mountain pose. Inhale through the nose. Open the mouth, let it go. Inhaling again. Big noisy exhale. And next inhale, float the hands up. Hinge at the hips as you fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Plant the hands, step back to down dog. Float your left leg up into the sky this time. Bend that left knee, place your left foot down, top of the mat. Place your right heel down, float the hands up. Warrior one. So bend in that front knee. Hands are overhead. Beautiful. Exhaling, hands back behind the body, interlacing the fingertips, but do it the awkward way, the opposite you did the first time. Lift the heart as you draw the hands down. And then on your next exhale, slowly bow to the inside of the left leg this time. Gazing in between the legs as you draw hands up. Breathe here. If you can't breathe, just come back to a traditional warrior one. Option, if you're taking traditional warrior one without bowing, you can always bind the arms behind the back body. Give your body what it needs. Go where it needs to go to maintain that smooth, deep, nourishing breath. So you draw the hands up actively. We're going to stay here just a little bit longer. And we're slowly going to release the hands as we float them back up into the sky. Hands can come to the hips now. We'll come high on the back ball of the foot. We'll step that right foot forward just a little bit. We'll draw that left hip back as we straighten the left leg. Lift the heart, and on the exhale, slowly bow for pyramid pose. Maybe hands float to heart center. Maybe hands come down to blocks. Or perhaps you are feeling like a challenge today, and you place the right hand towards the inside of the left foot, and you start to twist and float the left hand up into the sky for a revolve triangle on this side. Draw the left hip back. Gaze up towards that top hand, or maybe down towards the earth. Beautiful, good job. Releasing that top hand down. Inhaling, hands back up. Take them to your hips as you release, and just step forward, meeting at the top of your mat. We'll flow one more time here. Inhale, reach the hands up. Exhale as you melt the heart and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way back up as you reach the hands up. Draw them down through heart center. Hinge at the hips and fold. Beautiful. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your hands back onto the earth. Step back to plank. Lower down in chaturanga. Inhale up to cobra, up dog. Roll over the toes. Coming into down dog. We'll hang out here for a couple more breaths. Option to always take child's pose, so you can flow again if you like. Give your body whatever it's asking for. Move your body. Breathe into all those tight, sore spaces. And then when you're ready, from wherever you are, we'll all come down into a humble child's pose, so with thighs together, melting belly onto thighs, forehead or crown of the head connect with the earth, and we'll take those arms back behind us again. So releasing through the shoulders here, palms face up, arms are along our sides. Noticing how you feel after you've taken a lot of shapes, you've flowed, you've breathed, you've experienced different sensations in the body. Seeing if you feel that sense of grounding and balance that you're looking for. On your next inhale, we'll float the head and the heart up. So in a kneeling position. If you need to pad your knees with a blanket or a cushion, pillow, please do so. From here, we're going to tuck all 10 toes, helping that baby toe connect. So all 10 toes, we're going to take a nice toe stand here. Of course, if this is not in your practice, feel free to keep the toes untucked, so tops of the feet are on the earth instead. So two options. We can do a little toe stand here, or just resting on the tops of the feet. Hands draw to the hips. Gaze straight out in front. Take the hands behind the body, just above the sit bones. Fingertips point down. Draw the elbows together. Open through the heart and the collarbones here, and we'll take a little bit of a back bend. Slow and controlled. Just playing around with your edge. No need to go too deep if you're not ready. Are you breathing? If not, take the necessary adjustments to allow that smooth breath to flow again. Slowly come back up through center. Take the hands down onto the mat in front of you. Untuck the toes. Tap it out. Coming back to sit on your heels as we tuck all 10 toes again. This time we're going to cactus the arms, bending at the elbows, palms face forward. Take that little back bend beautifully. Coming back through center, we'll gently twist to the left. Releasing our twist. Little back bend again here. Slowly drawing back up, little twist to the right. Last couple of strong, steady breaths. Exhale, hands down onto the earth, on the front of you, untuck your toes, tap it up, good job. And from here, we'll just come back into that kneeling position. We'll place any props aside that we were using. And we're going to come down onto our sit bones. Maybe you want a little cushion underneath your sit bones. That will help facilitate any forward folding we're going to do. And we're going to come into Baddha Konasana. So knees are wide, soles of feet are together. And maybe you're sitting on the edge of a prop. So depending on where your hips are at today, we've done a lot of hip openers. Maybe you want to draw the soles of the feet a little bit closer into the body, into the groins. Or maybe you need a little bit more space in a larger diamond shape and you draw the feet away. So from wherever you're at, you can hold on to the shins, close the eyes, notice what you notice here. It's your choice if you want to stay seated here in butterfly pose. Or maybe on the next exhale, you want to bow over the legs. Hinging from the hips, placing the palms of the hands down on the earth. If you're quite open in the hips, and you want to draw the feet a little further away from the body, you can even thread the arms underneath the lower leg. So palms face down, and you can forward fold that. Coming into a place of stillness and quiet. Making any necessary adjustments you need to, once again, have that uninterrupted, smooth breath here. Calming the mind if it's wandering and racing about, maybe drawing it back to that intention you set at the beginning of class. Sometimes we don't even notice that we're gripping or clenching in the face, the jaw, the hands, shoulders. Just see if there's anywhere else you can soften here and allow more depth in the pose. And your next inhale from wherever you are, we'll start to lift the head and the heart. If your arms were threaded underneath the legs, you can release the arms from there. Take the hands to the outsides of the knees and just slowly close the thighs together like a book. Take the hands back behind you and float the knees side to side as you take some windshield wipers to release all that. And then take the hips back just a little bit. Knees are still bent here. We're going to come into a brief butterfly pose again. So soles of feet together, knees are wide. And then from here, we're just going to take that right leg back behind us. So that knee is bent still. And we're just going to simply place the inside of that right thigh down on the earth. So both knees are bent. Knees are pointing to the left. Feet are going to the right. And seeing if we can slide the feet away from the body So we have two 90-degree angles here with the knees. So coming into deer pose here. So you're resting on your left hip and sit bone. Knees are both resting down onto the earth towards the left, and the feet are going to the right. And then from here, this feels good. You can stay here. Perhaps you want to add on. You can inhale, hands straight up towards the sky, lengthening through the arms, and then exhale as you gently twist to the left, and you can place that right hand maybe somewhere on the outside of that left thigh. Left hand can be behind you on the earth if you need more support, and then maybe you take the head back towards the left shoulder. So twisted deer. Close your eyes and tune into what your body is trying to tell you here. Resisting the urge to fidget and fuss about once you find your depth. Once you find your edge with this pose, find that sweet stillness. Gently untwisting, drawing back through center. And then we'll simply just pick up both legs, knees are bent again, soles of feet are on the earth. We'll walk the feet out as wide as the mat. Floating and swaying legs side to side for windshield wipers. Hands are back behind you. And then meeting back in that butterfly pose when you're ready. Maybe you're sitting on a prop still, maybe not. So drawing soles of feet together, knees are wide again. And then from here, we'll take deer to the other side. So this time we'll pick up that left leg and we'll just flip that leg down towards the inside of that left thigh. So left foot is back behind you, left knee is bent. Right knee is bent. Both knees point towards the right this time. Feet are to the left. And then if you can, maybe walk the feet further away from the body. So you have two 90-degree angles here with the legs. Flex the feet to protect the knees if there's any issues in the knees. If the knees are talking to you here, draw the feet closer back towards the body. Once you have all that and this is feeling good and maybe you want to add on a little bit, we'll simply lift arms up and exhale as we slowly twist to the right this time. So left hand will rest gently on right thigh, right hand back behind you as a little kickstand on the earth. Maybe the head goes back towards the right shoulder, or maybe you keep the gaze somewhere out in front of you. Close your eyes, soften your gaze, notice what you notice here. Last couple breaths here on this side. And then gently releasing, drawing back through center. Place your hands down on the earth. Bring the knees together. And this time we'll just check in, make sure we're in the middle of our mats because we're just going to rest down onto our backs. And when you get there, hug your knees into chest and take those circles again with the knees. So hands to the tops of the knees and just guide the knees around in a circle so you're massaging the lower spine at the same time. And then change directions when you feel it's best to do so. And then maybe one more nice big juicy hug. Big those knees into chest. Release the hands, float arms and legs back up into the sky. Flex the feet, lengthen here for waterfall. The eyes closed. We'll bend at the knees and we'll cross the right leg over the left, flexing the feet, taking the hands to the shins as we hug the knees into the chest for a reclined cow face pose. Maybe as the body releases, it opens up here, you start to hug the knees a little bit closer in towards the body, breathing into this new space. Take the chin down a little bit so the chin is lower than the forehead. Mindfully release the legs, extend them back up into the sky, arms follow as well. Maybe rolling ankles and wrists again, one last time here. And then crossing left leg over right as you flex the feet, reach the hands to the shins, hug those knees into the body. Keeping in mind each side will be very different, so maybe you're not able to deepen on this side as much as you were on the first. So allow yourself that space. Honor where you're at on each side and don't force anything here. Seeing if you can soften anywhere here that will allow you to find a deeper place naturally in the pose. And then maybe after the body is opened up, you can perhaps draw the knees into chest and hold here in stillness as you breathe into the hips. Release the hands, uncross the legs, place the feet down as wide as the mat, rock the knees side to side. If there's anything I've missed that your body is just craving to do, now is a good time to incorporate one last pose into your practice before Shavasana. If your body is good and ready for Shavasana, you can begin to set up for that now. If you have that cushion or bolster at home, you can bring that and use that. If you have any low back pain, it's actually quite nice to snug that cushion underneath the thighs. Not so much the knees, but the thighs. So a little bit closer to the sit bones and extend your legs long over the cushion that way. That should take a little bit of the pressure out of the low spine if there's any sensitivities there. So setting up for Shavasana here, arms and legs go wide. Maybe you cover up with a blanket. Maybe you use your blanket as a little pillow back behind you. Take up lots of space here. Let the palms face up. Let the body soften and grow heavy as you melt into the mat. Softening through the face, the forehead, in between the brows. Releasing the jaw, relaxing the tongue down from the roof of the mouth. Allowing your body to completely rest and relax here. There's no more to do. Quieting the mind, slowing the breath down. And allowing your body to drink up and absorb all the goodness of your practice here today. If your schedule allows for a nice long extended Shavasana, I invite you to stay exactly as you are. Take your rest for as long as your body needs. For those of you that feel ready and your practice feels complete, you can begin to gently deepen your breath here. Wiggling the fingers and the toes. Gently rolling the ankles and the wrists. Maybe swaying the head side to side if that feels good. Reaching hands overhead and taking one more big stretch here. Hugging knees into chest as you rock side to side. Softly massaging the back. And then finding your way onto your right side, lowering down here, resting in child's pose. Eyes are still drawn closed here. Keeping the awareness towards the heart space and a calm, still mind. Pushing into both hands as you gently lift yourself up into a nice tall seat. Once you find your tall seat, you can float the hands together at heart center and bow your head down towards your beautiful heart. Maybe draw the thumbs towards the brows, in between the brows of the third eye space. Inhale deeply through the nose. Open the mouth, let it all go. Inhaling again. Big release here. This time we'll inhale to Om. Having gratitude for our practice here today, for the ability to breathe and move on our mats. Thankful for our health, our happiness, our families, our friends. Thinking of everything good that we have going on in our lives. Allowing ourselves to nurture and take care of ourselves during these different new times. Allowing yourself the ability to rest and to take ease and self-care. Thank you for joining me here this beautiful May long weekend. I hope you have a wonderful time. Enjoy the rest of your day. Namaste. Thank you, everybody.